Senior White House advisors had close knowledge of the Solyndra loan, and that DOE officials felt pressure from the White House to approve the loan.
New reports today that the Obama administration considered, in the final days of all this, a bailout under which the government would own 40% of Solyndra. Before the company went belly up, they decided not to do that. Angela McGlowan joins me now, Fox News political analyst, and Christopher Hahn is a former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You know, this is a very interesting story, and it's a very disturbing story. You know, you ask yourself, why the government, go back to the very basics on this, Chris Hahn, why would the government loan $535 billion?
Million.
I'm sorry, you're correct. $1 million. Why would the government make that kind of loan to any company, really, especially one that had been up for a loan and had been turned down by the administration before?
Well, you know, we have been subsidizing the energy industry, whether it be oil, gas, anything, solar, for generations. I don't see why we wouldn't want to try to encourage solar panels. I mean, I guess now going forward, those of us who want to have alternative energy fuel our homes and our lives can choose from the finest of China's products to do that. I think the administration wants to get this industry going, like the administrations before it have gotten the oil industry going. Let's face it.
But Christopher, I'm all for alternative fuel sources, and we are like the Saudi Arabia of coal, and we should not depend on the enemy for energy. However, we do subsidize energy, agriculture, the whole 9 yards, but what was the strategy here? Why did we have to push this company forward? It was a whole strategy to promote the president's green energy initiative, and it's failed. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. You have Beacon Power that just filed for bankruptcy. They got $43 million from the government. You have a company, Next Era, that got $2 billion from the government. They're doing well, but the CEO of the company sits on one of the president's initiatives.
Well, Martha, Angela is correct. The administration went out of its way, too far out of its way, to promote Solyndra specifically, and it was a political failure. That said, we need to invest in alternative energy, and what we invest in alternative energy is nothing compared to what we invest protecting our shipping lanes for oil. A carrier group, an aircraft carrier, costs $50 billion and costs $500,000 a day to run. And we have in the Gulf right now
I guess the question is, but Chris, the question is, why this company? You know, this is what taxpayers need to know. Why this company? And why, when it was turned down by the prior administration, because they looked at it and then they said, you know what, this doesn't look like a good investment, we're bagging it. And then it became one of the first priorities for the Department of Energy when the Obama administration took over. You know, it raises a lot of questions. It was a very, very large loan to this company. And that is a major point here. And that's why it's of so much concern. Then they tried to bail out the company. They thought about it in the final days after they paid $1 million to a Wall Street firm to analyze what was going wrong with it. They were tripping over themselves to figure this out.
Well, they chose wisely not to bail it out. And, you know, listen, I have said before, I think politically this has been mishandled by the White House. There were red flags. There were aides within the White House itself that said, hey, wait a minute, we shouldn't put the president out in front of this.
Hey, listen, Christopher, the reason why they chose not to bail it out, let's just put everything forward. Let's be transparent, because our administration is not being transparent. In November, the budget office of the White House sent an email out saying that Solyndra represents disaster for the president's policy on the green economy. So the administration knew that it would be failure, and it knew that it would be a political firestorm for the president.
Well, it's been a gift that keeps on giving for Republicans on the Hill, that we're looking for something, anything, to say the president done that might be a scandal. Now, I don't think this is a scandal of epic proportions the way they're making it out to be, but it is a problem politically, and it is a mistake by them.
But here's what we're also, you know, now they've got this Inspector General looking at all of the programs that have been supported by the Department of Energy, and I was astounded by this. There's 100 criminal investigations, 100 going on in the Department of Energy to figure out where the stimulus money went, and, you know, even down to weatherizing programs that seem to have failed. You know, I guess you just have to ask yourself, is it best for the government to handle this kind of initiative, to spur on this kind of investment in this country, or are we better off leaving it to, you know, private investment and analysts who analyze these companies and tell the market, this looks like a good bet, that looks like a bad bet? That's the bigger question that I think is being raised here.
Martha, it should be a partnership between the federal